Hey everyone, and hope everyone's doing good as usual. Again, thank you for watching and subscribe if you haven't. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Um, I wanted to talk just a little bit today about mindful awareness. And I think it can go a long way. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Just to practice awareness with positivity and, just being polite in general. We all have to live with each other, and we all have to get along to a certain degree. And you know, um, it basically helps everything function really. Society, your interpersonal relationships, for example, friendships. But what got me thinking about this was a video about. This video went viral recently. I think it got taken down. The person deleted it, but for example, she was kind of bragging that she worked at Starbucks for a few years, I think like 6 years. And while she was there, she would give decaf coffee to rude customers, and saying, well, if you want to be rude, then don't be rude, and then I'll get your order right. Like this is, this is customer service. So you're supposed to be polite to the employees, which was kind of weird because, customer service means the employees have to be polite to the customers. But anyways, it got a huge amount of views, and there was a lot of people saying, well, yeah, I've worked in customer service too. I have too, in a variety of jobs, by the way. And yeah, people aren't very nice sometimes. And it's one of those things you got to just learn to deal with. It's life, I mean, not everyone's going to be in a good mood all the time. Especially if you're doing your job. Some of the comments too were kind of questionable, like, well, if someone orders decaf, or if they order caffeine in their coffee, I would give them decaf because they look pregnant, or because, it's not good for your heart or their age. I was just thinking, you're a barista, you're not a doctor. Just give the person what they ordered. It's as simple as that. And to assume anything and do that sort of, there's a reason the rules are in, but it's kind of simple. You order something, you give them their order. So that applies kind of across the board in life too. If you think about it, just don't assume, and just if you're there for a purpose, just serve that purpose. And if people are rude, you don't have to get revenge on them, or they're going in there to spend time and money buying something, and they're, rude to you, and it offended you, so you get their order wrong. It's like, it's a little bit childish and narcissistic. And I wanted to kind of counter that, hopefully, even if it's just one person viewing the video, if I could just share this sort of thing, I think it's great. Like some of these comments. Here's what I mean by that too. I mean, if someone comes in and you're there and you're doing your job is to take orders, make them, the customer pays their money, and simple as that. If someone's rude, or they were saying all kinds of things, just rude or unpleasant, or giving them dirty looks even, it's like they would serve them decaf or get their order wrong on purpose, for example. Just as okay, here's a good way to look at. Here's how I kind of look at things, and it helps keep me grounded. I'm not perfect. None of us are, I don't think. We all have bad days and that sort of thing. But if you remember that, number one, you're just there to do simply your job or your work and that sort of thing, or in any kind of given interaction. There's really no need for that kind of, I'm offended, I'm going to get even with you, sort of thing. So, but the way I always look at it is, if someone is in a bad mood, you don't know why. So let's say, for example, here's how I always do it. I always think, well, man, that person's in a bad mood. I wonder what's going on. I wonder what triggered that sort of thing. I've had bad moods. I've had bad days. And sometimes you just don't have that awareness when you're out and about. So I always like to think, well, God, maybe they're going through something tragic. And what if it is? The point is, you don't know. So what if someone comes in and they're just rude and they don't give you a tip, and so you get their order wrong, or you give them decaf coffee, for example? I always like to think, well, just think of something that's negative they're going through, and think how you would feel after that. What if someone, for example, uh, and not to make it too drastic, but this paints the picture perfectly because you don't know. Like, what if this person is on the way, say their child just died or is in the hospital, and they're swinging by Starbucks and just they had to miss work. They need a coffee because they have to stay awake and they have to stay active to get themselves through the day. And here they come in and order a coffee. I mean, you take offense because they weren't polite to you. It's a little bit ignorant and narcissistic to make it all about yourself, and not only that, but to be vengeful and then boast about it on social media, to assume, or just make it about yourself when you're supposed to be there to do your job. And how would you feel if you found out that was the case? This person, maybe their child died 3 or 4 days ago, and they've just been up and they're swinging by Starbucks to go to the funeral, and they come in there and you ruin their day even more because you took offense, because they were rude to you. They are under no obligation to be polite to you whatsoever, and it may not even be that they're doing it on purpose. So it's good to be mindful of this sort of thing, and remember, if someone's in a hurried or rude or bad mood, it could be for a very good reason. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's they're just a mean person and they're like that with everybody. But you don't know that. It's not up to anybody to make these sorts of judgment calls, and let alone, try to ruin their life on purpose even more just because you felt offended. I think this level of maturity needs to be communicated and expressed to people, because the truth is, you don't know. You have no idea what that person's going through. And what if you found out it was an absolutely tragic situation? Would you feel good about yourself? Are they supposed to just be happy and nice to you because they're having a horrible life in that moment? So it's not a very mature mentality, and I wanted to kind of counter that with this sort of advice and information. And it's good to have an awareness that everybody has a life, and could be going through something very real. And that's just life right there. It's good that people are, we all try to be pleasant, I think, in overall, and just to get along and function and that sort of thing. Society is just kind of built on those kinds of expectations. And it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. We're not robots, and people just aren't going to be, like that all the time. And it really, I think, makes somebody a bigger and better person to be able to understand that and help maintain these sorts of things. And I think that was good. I just wanted to share that. And, even after all this, if you're still thinking, well, you know what, I don't care, this is still my life and they shouldn't be rude and, you're not supposed to be rude, I don't know what to say. Maybe just kind of revisit that thought in a few years and see where you're at. So another good example, too, is this is maybe about 10 years ago. I was talking to a friend, and we had almost an identical conversation. It was really funny. It just reminded me of that. So, because she actually came into work and she was really mad. She was like, I was like, you seem irritated. And she was like, yeah, I held the door open for someone and he went first and he didn't say thank you. And I was like, and then she got mad. She got really mad. And was like, you're supposed to say, I think she was having a bad day, to be honest. So she seemed kind of irritated anyways. So I think there was something else there to, just to be truthful. But man, she was not happy. And she said, I held the door open for him and you're supposed to say thank you. Jerry, that's what you're supposed to do. And she just went on for like literally like 5 minutes. And I was like, wow. And I was like, well, I'm not choosing sides here, but like, maybe he didn't notice, or maybe like, what if he's on the way to, who knows? Like, maybe he just had a fight with his wife. Maybe he lost his job. Maybe he was in a hurry to a job interview. I don't know. Like, I'm sure he didn't really mean it. And she was like, I don't care. She's like, I don't care. You're supposed to do that no matter what. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm sorry about that. So, but again, I think there was something there, and I think she was having a bad day. Just to let you guys know. But that kind of just reminded me of that story. And that's one of the things I keep in the back of my mind too. It always makes me smile every time someone opens a door for me, like most times, because it always reminds me of that. But anyways, so I just wanted to share that, and just kind of put forth the idea out there and help share information and help counter some of the stuff we see on social media sometimes. Because man, I'm not going to say I'm not a fan of it. It has a lot of utility, but man, it can be very toxic sometimes. And so when these sorts of things become viral, and seems to be like a majority of people who agree with this sort of thing, or even support it, or seem to think it's not a big deal, I think it's important to counter this sort of mentality, period. And apparently it's a big thing too. So just kind of talking about coffee. A lot of baristas were saying, some were saying, yeah, we don't do that, but some of my coworkers do it, and sometimes managers were like, yeah, I work at a Starbucks, and it happens a lot. And it happens a lot more than it should. Anyways, so they shouldn't apply to just coffee though. In all aspects of life, when we're out there living and experiencing life on a day-to-day basis, it's good to remember to practice that sort of awareness. If something comes up and it bothers us, remember to the other person or other party could be going through something very real. I think we all do at some point in life. So that's a great awareness to have. And again, it's not completely perfect. I want to put that out there too. I'm not saying that there's rude people sometimes just for no reason. There just is, But if we have this greater awareness of one another, and not only what we go through, but others too, I think it helps give a greater and better understanding to, allow for things to just work or function better at large. So that's all I wanted to talk about. Thank you so much. And again, for watching. And I started putting subscribe buttons. I think it's over there. If I'm pointing right, it's like down there on the screen somewhere. So if you haven't subscribed yet, I welcome you to subscribe, and like the comment, or hit the like button if you like the video, and comments too. Feel free to comment and ideas and suggestions and dialogue. So thank you guys, and happy Easter, by the way. And we'll see you in the next video.